Hi, I'm Sarah with Lavender Buttons Design, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to take a few pieces of scrap wood and make a clean and simple shelf that has the options to add little hooks underneath to make an easy and simple key holder. You can paint and decorate it any way you want, and it's extremely versatile. The supplies you'll need for today's project are going to be some scrap pieces of wood. Mine are about 11 inches long, just some leftover pieces of 1x4 that I happen to have lying around. I'm going to be making 2 shelves, so I've got 2 sets of boards here. You'll see that they're not in the greatest shape, but I'm not really too worried about it because it'll kind of give it like kind of a rustic look when they're all finished. If you are going to turn one into a key holder, you'll need some little twisty hooks like these. You'll need paint or stain, whatever you're choosing to use for your project. I happen to have this leftover paint sample that's just black, so that's what I'm gonna do. A paintbrush, some screws to hold them together. These are just simple drywall screws, obviously a screwdriver. And then to hang them up, I'm gonna use these French cleats. So these are a really awesome way to hang things up, especially stuff that might be a little bit load bearing or have some weight to it, because what they do is they lock in together like this. It creates a really flush, clean hold to the wall, so it doesn't stick out too far, and it's super strong. I can't remember how much weight these can hold, but I want to say it's like 20 pounds or maybe more. And the way that it works is one piece will screw onto the wall, the other piece will screw onto the shelf, and then you can see here they just kind of lock together like this. And so then that creates almost a shelf with the bottom one for this to sit on, and it'll just lock right in there and be super tight. So to start out, what I did was I pre-drilled some holes so my screws go in nice and easy. So the way that we did the pre-drilled holes is we figured out, we took 2 pieces, we lined them up like that. Okay, line them up like this. And then since these are just under 12 inches, about every 3 inches, drilled a hole down into them. Okay, so I'm gonna take our holes here that we pre-drilled. I'm gonna take these, let's see, debating which side of this is in better shape. I think it's that one, because I want my side that's better shape to be lined up. So my little paint can here makes a perfect ledge. Something I want to do as I'm working on screwing these in is making sure that the seam here stays pretty well lined up. Because of how they look when they're finished, it's not going to be super obvious if it's a little crooked. However, I do want to try and keep that even because it'll keep my shelf looking a little nicer. Now, the next step is going to be to paint or stain, whatever you choose to do. I'm using just a little sampler of like basic latex wall paint. However, you could totally use just craft paint, you could use stain, really endless possibilities. You could just leave them natural wood. All right, so now that my shelf is dry, I'm gonna measure out the distance I want so I can put in my hooks for my key holder. And I want them to stick out kind of farther from the back so they're easier to get to. My piece I have is 11 inches exactly, which doesn't divide by 4 in a super nice way, but what I'm gonna plan on doing is just every 2 1/4 inches. So I'm gonna put a little mark at 2 1/4 there, then I'm gonna add 2 1/4 to that, which will give me 1, 2, 4 1/2. And then I'm gonna do the same thing going the opposite direction. So because it's easier for me to do it like this is what I'll do. So 2 1/4, 4 1/2. And that's pretty close to being even. And I just wanna make sure that they're even this direction too. They look good. So, okay, so I did do some small pilot holes where I wanted to drill those to help it guide these little screws in easily. Depending on how soft your wood is, it might be that you can just use sheer force to get them in there, but I was having some trouble with that. So just did some little pilot holes, made sure they didn't go very deep because my screw bit on these hooks is not very deep. So that's it. We're just gonna twist these in. And I want to make sure that the hooks face the front of the shelf. And voila, that's as easy as it is. Now to put the French cleats on, what you'll do is the part that goes on the shelf, you want the cleat to face down, so the opening here will be going down. You'll just kind of center this wherever you want it to be, screw that in place, and then on your wall, you'll take the opposite side of the cleat and you'll want it to screw so that the part that sticks out goes upwards. So then when they're on, this guy just slides right in place and it's gonna be so secure. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to follow on social media so you know when I have new releases, and I hope you have a great day.